Hello and welcome to this video tutorial. In today's session I'm going to teach you how to build a membership application for your website without using a single line of code. Now typically when you think of a membership application, users will have the ability to sign up using some kind of a registration form on your website. And once a user signs up, he or she is going to have the ability to log in. Let me go ahead and log in as a sample user. And once the user logs in, they'll have the ability to update their complete profile and also have the ability to find other members in the same directory. Now the premise of our website, our example today, is for hikers to find other hikers in the same directory. So by inputting a city, state, and zip, I'm hoping to find hikers within my vicinity and potentially be able to connect with those hikers and go on to the same hikes. So that's what we're going to build today, but keep in mind that you can easily modify the application or this membership application to meet your needs depending on what data you wish to collect. So you can modify the labels, the fields. Really just depends on your specific needs and how you wish to modify your membership application. And we're going to cover all of that in today's video session. Now to build our front end, which is our website, we're going to use a company called Yola. Yola offers an easy-to-use site builder that allows you to build websites in minutes, hours, no more than a few days. It really just depends on how much time you're able to devote to building your website. And they also have a free plan, so feel free to sign up and check it out. I do recommend it. It really allows you to build websites much quicker without any coding. For our backend, to build our registration form, to build our ability to find other hikers and also update profile, we're going to use Caspio. Now Caspio is a development platform that allows you to build applications without any coding. So there are lots of different types of applications you can build using Caspio. If you click on Instant Apps, you can demo some applications to see all the different possibilities that you can do within the platform. Caspio also has a free account, so if you go to free.caspio.com, go ahead and fill out this form. And once you fill out this form, you're going to receive your credentials via email. Then go back to caspio.com, click on Customer Login, and once you log into your Caspio account, this is what you'll see. So this is the dashboard view of your Caspio platform. Now obviously the first thing that you want to do here is click on this link for new app, okay, to set up a new application. And when you click on that link, you're going to see two options here. You can either build your application by importing data from Excel, Access Database, XML, or text if you have some data that you wish to import. But if you don't have any data, you can build your application from scratch. Okay, there's really no right or wrong way to begin. This is for convenience if you have some data. But even if you don't have any data, if you begin this way, you can always go to Tools later on to import your data. So let's build our application from scratch. And let's give our application a name. We'll call it Hiker Membership Application. So once you name your application, you're going to create this application container. And you can always build new applications and see them here on your dashboard view. Okay, so after we name the container or this application, you're going to click on Open, and then you're going to see this additional navigation menu on the left-hand side, and you're more than likely going to use all of these objects to create your application called Hiker Membership Application. And the very first object that's highlighted by default is the Overview tab. This screen allows you to keep track of your progress as far as what you're building with that application. Now let's go ahead and add a quick note here to say just started building my app today. You can also edit the top box, Application Details. Let's add a description for our application. So something on those lines. Let's also add an application icon And let's add that same image that we have on our website and click on Save. There's the application icon. If you go back to the home page, you can see how that icon is now attached to this application. That in a way helps you differentiate this application from all of your other applications inside your account. So if I were to set up a brand new application and give it a name, CRM, you will see that second container at the top. And then when you click on Open, what you'll notice on the overview screen, we don't see those notes here, because these notes only pertain to our CRM application, this container. Now you can either click on Home to go to Hiker Application, or we have this little quick switch icon here that allows us to toggle back and forth much faster. So when you click on Hiker Membership App, it brings us back to our overview screen for that application. Okay. Now the most important place where you want to begin is the tables. Tables are the backbone or the foundation of any application that you build inside your Caspio account. That's where all the data is going to reside, inside the database table. And to build a new table, all you have to do is click on New here at the top. And then it's going to ask you to list all the fields that you would like to have inside that database table. And these are going to be the fields that we're going to want to collect from all of our members. The first field that we want to list is member ID, and we're going to turn that into an auto number because we want to assign a number to each one of our registered members. So when a new member signs up, we want to assign a unique ID to that specific member because that's how that member is going to be identified. As an admin, I also want to know what date and time that user registered on my website. Okay, and then we're going to list perhaps profile status. We'll turn that into a checkbox because I want to give my members the ability to say if they want their profile to be shown to other members, or if they disable it, if they check no on the checkbox, then their profile is not going to be available for all the other members to see. So it gives you more control as far as if you want your profile to be active or inactive. Let's have some kind of a profile photo so users can add their own image. We'll turn that into a file data type. And then we want to collect their name. We want to collect their email. Now the email is going to be a unique field because that's going to be our username. I don't want the same member to sign up using two of the same emails. Okay, so we need to have a unique email per each member. I also want the password field so the user can create their own password on the registration form. And then you're going to collect all the other information that you wish to collect from all of your registered members. Like zip code, we may want a bio of our users. Let's change that into text 64,000 so they can type in more characters inside that text area. And let's have them have the ability to update their favorite hikes. So if I'm searching for a hiker, I want to be able to see their favorite hikes. And if that's one of my favorite hikes, perhaps I can connect with that hiker and we can go into that hike together. Once you're done inputting all of your fields, go ahead and click on Save. And let's call this Hiker Table or Hiker Registration Table. Click on Finish, and here's our very first database table that we just created. If you click on Open, you'll see that it's an empty table. There's no data inside this table yet because we just built it from scratch. If you need to make modifications to your fields, click on Table Design, and here you can remove fields, you can modify fields, or you can introduce new fields to your database table. Okay. Now that we have our table created, I can jump up to Data Pages, and I can click on New to launch the Data Page Wizard. Data pages are the application interfaces that embed into your website. I also like to call them widgets because all you have to do is copy a snippet of code, paste that code into your site builder, publish your website, and you're going to see that interface embed seamlessly into your web page. It's very similar like embedding a YouTube video or one of those social media like buttons. Copy, paste, embed. And we're going to cover that in just a minute. The first thing that I want to build is the registration form on my website. So I'm going to select Submission Form, Data Page. I'm going to click Next. And now I'm going to link my registration table to my submission form via this drop down here. So there's my table. And let's call this data page Registration Form. I'm going to apply my style. You can see we have a few preloaded styles in here. Well, not inside this account, but all of the other accounts, if you create one, you'll see a bunch of preloaded styles that you can choose. Or you can go to the Styles tab and you can fully configure your own style so you can match the aesthetics of the form to your own website. We're also going to apply the English localization. And we don't need to password protect our registration form, so we're going to leave that unchecked. Click Next. And here are all the fields that are available to us from that database table, because we made that our data source table from this dropdown. So once you do that, you can see all the fields. Now on the registration form, you don't want to overwhelm the user by having them fill out too many fields on the registration form. You should really keep that limited to maybe 4 to 5 fields, the most important fields that you need. And then once the user logs in, they can complete the rest of the fields. So let's collect date registered, profile status, name, email, and password on the registration form. The rest of these fields we're going to use in the update profile page. Click Next again. For this field, date registered, we don't need to leave that as a text field and leave it exposed. All we need to do from the drop-down is select timestamp, and that's going to make that field hidden. So even when the user registers, it's going to stamp the date and time of that registration in our table. Profile status, which allows users to control whether or not they want their profile to be public facing or private. We're going to make this field hidden. And by default, we're not going to check this because we want the user to log in first, complete their profile, and then we want their profile to be available publicly after it's been completed. So leave that unchecked. We want the name to be a required field. The email is automatically going to be required because we made it unique inside our table. And for the password field, let's modify the label so it says create password. We'll make that a required field. Show password strength. And let's have a minimum strength required to be good, which is going to be a combination of uppercase numbers. That way their password is strong enough so other users can't figure it out and log into their account. Once you're done, you can go ahead and click on Finish. And here's our very first data page. You can click on Preview to see what the form looks like. And if you're happy with the design, the look and feel of the form, right next to Preview is what we call Deploy. Click on the Deploy link, enable access to the form, and Caspio is going to give you 4 deployment methods. The embed model is the most popular one that we have. All you have to do is copy this snippet of code, paste that code into your site builder, and publish your website. Now I have my YOLO account here opened up, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to embed that widget or that data page into your YOLO site builder. I created this page called Register, and in YOLO, to embed the Caspio code, you have to go to the Widgets tab and drag over the HTML code widget anywhere on your website. I already have it here in the middle of my page. All I'm going to do is double click inside this pan and just paste my Caspio code like this. And the moment you paste your code, just go ahead and click on Save, save your changes, and then publish your website. Go ahead and click on the link at the very top. And now you'll see the moment you click on this registration button, you will see that Caspio registration form seamlessly embedded in your website. Now we still have to set up our other pages as well, but you'll notice something now when I fill out this form. Let's say we say John Doe, and we say john@test.com. Password can be testing1. We've met our minimum requirement. We match the password, click on Create Account, and you will see your submission was successful. You can modify this confirmation message to say something else if you'd like. But once we go to our Caspio account now that this form is linked to our table, if you open up the table, you will see John Doe as a registered member. But so far we've only collected some information via the registration form. You can see how all the other fields are empty because John hasn't updated his complete profile yet. Okay, so what we need to do next is we need to create that login screen on our Yola website so John can log in and complete his profile. To do that, we need to jump down to Authentications, and authentication is going to be used to create that login functionality on our website. Click on New. Select your authentication data source, which is the table that we have, because that's where all the credentials reside. So John's email and John's password is sitting inside this table, so we want that to be our data source. For the setup options, I recommend custom. It gives you more customization options. And I also recommend the recommended validation. And you'll see right away down here, these are our two credential fields, email and password. Now for email, you can see it says label username. I like to rename that so it says email. That way the user knows they're supposed to type in their email address. Go ahead and click on Create. And let's call this Hiker Authentication. Alright, and now you'll see that authentication was set up inside our Caspio account. Now what you can do is you can apply this authentication to all of your data pages. Obviously, I don't want to apply that to my registration form because we don't want the registration form to be password protected. That needs to be public. So anyone who goes to my website will be able to see this registration form. But let's say for an example we decide to apply that authentication to our registration form just so that you can see how it works. Let's edit the registration form. And right over here where it says Access and Security, you can enable this checkbox, and now you can see that we can apply this authentication to our registration form that we just built a minute ago. Click on Finish, refresh your website, and you'll see those changes applied directly on your site. Now the registration form is password protected. And obviously we don't want that, so let's go ahead and remove that checkbox. We're going to edit the form again. And just uncheck the box, click Finish again. And let's verify to make sure that our registration form is once again public. And it is. Okay, so now we're going to set up our Update Profile page. Let's go back inside Caspio, click on New Data Page. And what we want to do now is we're no longer adding new entries to the table. We want to update entries from our table, so we're going to select this data page type. Click Next. We're going to select our same table that we have because that's where all of John's information is. Let's call this data page Update Profile. And this time, the profile page needs to be password protected. Why? Because I need to register first, and after I register, then I need to log in and complete my profile. Now let's go ahead and click Next here. And what you'll see here is a radio button that says Find Record through Record Level Security. Identity field in the authentication, which is our login screen, identity is based on the hiker table. So I need to make sure I select member ID from the authentication, and the matching field in the current data source, and the current data source is also a registration table. So that also needs to say member ID. And once you set this up, if both of these conditions are true, then each member that logs in will see just their own information. Because I don't want to see another member's email or password or something else. I need to see just my own. Click Next. And now you'll see that we have also access to all of the fields. And it says which fields do you wish to use in the update form or web form. Let's have date registered, profile status, photo, name, email, password, city, state. Let's include all of the fields except for member ID. We don't need to show that to the users. Click Next. Date registered. For the label, it makes sense if we rename this to say member since when that user registered on our website. And that's going to be display only because I don't want the user to update that. Profile status, we can move this all the way down to reposition the field. Profile photo, let's have that be a file, and let's display it as an image, and we can set the width of the image to, let's say, 200 pixels. Leave the height blank, because if you put 200 by 200, and if the image was rectangular shaped, it's going to skew that image and it won't be formatted nicely. So leave this blank, and what this field is going to allow the user to do is to update their photo or to upload their photo on their profile. For the name, you can allow the user to update their name if you'd like by selecting text field. Let's make sure it's a required field because we don't want them to accidentally leave that blank. Email, we should allow users to update their email as well. They should be able to update their password. We don't need to require current password validation. City, let's have them be able to input a city. Let's have them able to input their state. Now for the state field, you can actually turn this into a drop-down. And if you had a table of all of your US states, you can link that table to your drop-down. That way you don't have to use custom values to list all of your states manually. That's a tedious process. But if you have just a few options in the drop-down, then yes, you can say maybe New York, Nevada, Hawaii, and you can go down the list. Okay, but it makes sense if you have a table inside your account that has the US states, just link it to the table as opposed to listing custom values. Then we have zip code. Let's make that a text field as well. Bio, let's make that a text area so the user can see a nice box and what they're typing inside it. Favorite hikes can also be a text area. And for profile status, we'll make this be a checkbox. And what we'll say is display text after the checkbox, and it can say check to make profile public. So if a user checks that box, now their profile is going to be available for other hikers to see. Once you're done inputting and modifying each one of your update form fields, click on Finish. And there's your second data page. Once again, you can click on Preview to see what it looks like, and you'll see the login screen. Let's go ahead and deploy this. Actually, one thing that I forgot to change here on the update profile page, let's edit, because I forgot to change the localization from Portuguese to English. That way it says login as opposed to entrar, but depending on where you're deploying this, if it's supposed to be a Portuguese website, just keep in mind that you can change the localization and language to reflect that specific region. Click Finish again, and once you preview it, you can see that now it's going to say Login. So now we're going to deploy this data page to our Yola website by copying the code once again. We're going to go to our site builder, and we're going to go directly to our update profile page. Once again, don't forget to drag your HTML code widget to your canvas and then open up the screen, paste your Caspio code, save it, save your page, and publish. Click on the link at the top. So now we have the ability to register, and I already registered as John Doe. Let's go ahead and log in as John via this login screen now. So the moment I log in as John, okay, so here's my complete update profile page that we just created inside Caspio. Except now it's this data page, or this widget, is embedded in our Yola website. So I can update my photo if I want to. Let's add that same image. I can update the city where I'm from. We can say maybe an example is San Jose. Here are all of my, actually why don't we say New York, New York. Zip code, something random. And then we can put a bio here for ourselves. Something like that. We can also add our favorite hikes. I don't know any favorite hikes I don't have any favorite hikes in New York because I'm not from there, but let's say something like Matt Davis Trail. And I want my profile to be available to the public, to all the other hikers. So we'll check that box and click update. Data was updated successfully. If you click on this again, now you can see that that information is saved inside the update profile page, and at any time John can log in and continue updating the profile any way he wants, and he can update it to update favorite hikes, bio, etc. Now what's left is for John to be able to find other hikers in the same directory. So let's go back to Caspio, and what we're going to do here is we're going to click on new data page once again. And this time what we're going to build is a report. Reports allow us to output the data from our database tables. Forms input and update tables, reports output. So you can see all the data from the table on your website. Now if you're dealing with images, I recommend gallery layout because it gives you rows and columns, and you can have a nice image inside those rows and columns, which in this case we have John's image, so we want to see what that looks like in a gallery format. Click Next. Where is all of our data? Well, all of our data is inside this database table, so we'll select that, and let's give this a name. We'll call it View Search Other Hikers. Once again, apply your style and apply your localization. And then we want to restrict access to our hikers. And what I mean by that is that you must register first, log in, and then be able to view other hikers in the directory. I don't want this report to be available to just anyone. You have to sign up before you can view other ones. Click Next. We want the ability to search hikers, so we'll select this radio button. Now, what information do you want to search on? Let's search based on city, state, and zip code. Those fields make sense because if I want to find somebody in my own city, I want to be able to search on that field. So just like the submission form, you can select each field on the left-hand side, and you can make modifications on the right side. Now for city, notice by default it's set up as equal, which means I have to know the exact city name before I can find that result. But if you select contains, it's more like partial keyword or letter. So for example, if I type in letter B, it's going to return all the results that contain that letter B. And just to speed up on time here, we're going to make all of our fields contains only. But keep in mind that you can modify each field and change the form element from text field to any one of these other options that we have. So you can turn it into a radio button, checkbox, drop down, list box, and we have cascading options below. But just for now, we're going to leave it as a text field. We're going to click Next. And now, what do you wish to show on the results page? So when you click search, what do you want to display? Let's display the photo of the hiker, hiker's name, perhaps email, city, state, and zip. The rest of this information, the bio and favorite hikes, we can display that in the details page for that hiker. Because the results page, because you're going to have a lot of images and a lot of hikers on the results page, it's best to just keep a summary of the hiker on the results page. We don't want to enable any delete options because we don't want other hikers to delete hikers from our website. Click next. Here you can configure the results page options. We want to display this as an image, and we want to set the image to maybe 200 pixels for each hiker. There's no need for a label here because we already know it's an image, so let's just go ahead and remove the label. For the email field, perhaps we can render this value as an email link, so it's clickable on our website. Click next here. We can choose how many grid columns do we want to have. You can do a 4x6 to display 24 records. You can do 2x12. Let's do 3x8 maybe. You can sort your hikers based on any one of the fields, A to Z or Z to A, automatically. You can play around with a few options here as well, but for now let's click next. Let's enable the details page. And in the details page, I want to show almost all the information about the hikers. When they signed up, their photo, their name, their email, not their password, because that's unique to the hiker. The other hikers shouldn't be able to see other hikers' passwords. City, state, zip, bio, and favorite hikes. Okay, click next one last time. And you'll see that in the details view, by default, everything is going to be display only. So I want to change this image to, let's say, maybe a bigger image, 300 pixels now. Date register can say member since. And then you'll see name, email, city, but you'll see that all the fields are display only. In other words, read only. You cannot make any modifications. And that's what we want. We don't want other hikers to change other hikers' information. Okay, that doesn't make much sense in this use case. And then you just go down the list of all of your fields. Once you're done making modifications, you can click finish, and this will complete our application. We now have the ability to register, log in via the authentication to update the profile, and we can now search for other hikers. Let's deploy this, and let's embed this last data page into our Yola builder. So we'll go to this page called Find Hikers. And just to remind you once again, don't forget to drag this HTML code to your canvas. And once you do that, just paste the Caspio code, save your changes, save it again, and publish your website. Click on the link, go down to Find Hikers, and now you're going to be able to find hikers in that directory. There is one thing that I forgot to add that I need to make sure that everyone's aware. There's one thing that I forgot to do in my Find Hikers data page. Click on Edit, and this is very important. Click Next here and Next one more time until you get to what fields you wish to have in the search form. Make sure that you include the profile status in the search form as well. Okay? And we need to modify that by highlighting the profile status field. You want to make sure this is a hidden field and that it's checked by default. So it's looking that all the profiles that are public, that are checked, should be displayed. Finish. And let's take a look once again. Alright, so what happens now if John decides to say, well, I don't want my profile to be public anymore, and click on Update? Now other hikers will now be able to see John's profile in the directory. However, if John comes over here and says, well, I want my profile to be public, and we go back to that same directory, well, now you're going to be able to see John's profile inside the directory. and now other hikers can go to the details page, view the additional info, and possibly be able to connect with John and go onto the same hike. So this is just a very simple application that we built using the Caspio platform. Keep in mind the Caspio platform allows you to build much more robust and sophisticated applications. And what I mean by that is you can have table relationships, you can have one-to-many relationships, you can have many-to-many. Just like in an Access database, if you open up the relationship screen, you can include all of your tables that you have. You can link them together if you want to create a one-to-many or many-to-many relationship. You can build views. Like in Access database, it's called queries. You can combine and join tables together into a view. And then using our data pages, you can build your front-facing applications and embed them into your website. All the workflows, all the functionalities that can be embedded into your website via these data pages or widgets that I call them. Now this membership application, if I wasn't making any explanations or explaining how to build it, you can literally build this in 5 to 10 minutes once you get the hang of it and you know what you're doing. That's how quickly it takes to build this membership application inside Caspio. So I hope you enjoyed today's video tutorial. We basically build a very simple membership application for our website. Of course, this can further be customized in terms of aesthetics, layout, and depending on how you wish to match the look and feel of your website or your brand. And once again, I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to contact us at any time, and somebody will be more than happy to assist you. Thank you for your time, and hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.